welcome to the deep dive. Today we're heading back, way back, to the late Cretaceous, to what we now call central Kazakhstan. We're focusing on a really interesting dinosaur, Batyrosaurus.
Yeah, a fascinating one.
Our mission really is to unpack what makes it special and what its discovery tells us about the bigger picture, particularly the origins of duck-billed dinosaurs.
Right.
We're working from the original scientific paper here, so we'll be digging right into the source.
Absolutely. And having that paper is key, isn't it? It's like the blueprint. We're looking at the actual evidence that helps piece together this part of the dinosaur story, especially their movements across the globe.
Okay, so let's jump in. The discovery itself. The paper says Batyrosaurus fossils were found in the Bostobe Formation. That's near Akkurgan, central Kazakhstan.
Correct.
And this layer, it dates to the late Cretaceous, specifically the Santonian to Campanian stage. So roughly, 84 million years ago?
Yeah, around that time. And knowing that specific geological context is incredibly valuable. It tells us about the environment, who else lived there, and crucially, its place in the evolutionary timeline. Finding it in Central Asia is important because it really fuels the idea that the ancestors of those famous North American duckbills might have actually started out over there.
Interesting. And the name itself is pretty cool. Batyrosaurus rojdestvensky. Named in 2012 by Godefroy Esculier, Bolotsky, and Lothers.
Yep, that's the team.
Batyrosaurus from Betatyr, meaning Kazakh hero warriors. Quite a strong name.
It is, and Rojdestvensky honors Anatoly Konstantinovich Rojdestvensky, a notable paleontologist. These names, they often carry stories, don't they? Honoring people or places.
Definitely adds a layer to it. So let's talk about the actual find, the holotype specimen, AEHM41. This wasn't just like one bone, was it?
Oh, no, it was pretty decent. A partial skeleton, parts of the skull, lower jaws. I think the paper mentions 60 teeth.
60. Wow.
Yeah, plus bits of the chest, the sterna arm bones, like the humerus and radius, and even some hand bones, metacarpals, and phalanges.
Okay, so a good amount to work with.
Oh, absolutely. Much better than just a fragment. A more complete picture lets you do much more detailed analysis, compare it properly to others.
So what did this picture look like?
Oh.
Size-wise, the paper calls it a medium-sized hadrosauroid, about 5 to 6 meters long.
That's right. So maybe the length of a large SUV or a small bus. Not one of the later giants, but respectable.
Right.
But it's the unique details, the autapomorphies, that really set it apart. Think of them as its specific diagnostic features.
Okay, let's get into those, because this sounds like where the real detective work happens.
Yeah.
The paper mentions some specifics about the skull bones.
The parietals.
Yeah, the parietals, the back of the skull roof, they form these sort of bony flaps, and these flaps overlap the bone below, the supraoccipital.
Okay.
But they don't touch the bones to the sides, the paracipitals.
Yep.
And then the squamosals, which are further to the sides, actually overlap the parietal flaps. Sounds complex, like a very specific interlocking system.
Exactly. It's a unique arrangement, a key identifier for Batyrosaurus. These subtle differences are crucial for sorting out evolutionary relationships.
And there were other skull features, too, something
Yeah.
about the frontal bones.
Yes, the frontals on top of the skull were quite elongated. The paper says about 70% longer than wide. That's pretty distinctive.
Definitely.
And also, on the cheekbone, the jugal, there's this deep horizontal trough on its outer side, just below where it meets the lacrimal bone near the eye.
Wow, tiny details. But they obviously mean something.
They do. They can tell us about muscle attachments, blood supply, overall skull mechanics. Each one helps build that unique profile.
And didn't they find a thumb claw? About 4 centimeters long?
They did, yes. A thumb claw or ungwal. It's another piece of the puzzle, gives us clues about its hands, maybe how it manipulated food or defended itself.
Okay, but maybe the most intriguing part was the brain case. The paper mentions finding a cast or an endocast.
Yeah, essentially an impression of the inside of the brain case. And the really amazing thing was the presence of these fine impressions of arteries on the inner surface.
Arteries, so you could actually see where blood vessels ran near the brain.
Pretty much. It strongly suggests the brain filled that cavity almost completely. That's quite rare, and gives us a fantastic, though indirect, glimpse into the potential neurology of this dinosaur.
That is amazing. So where does Batyrosaurus fit in the grand scheme of things, taxonomically?
Right. So it's classified within Hadrosauridae. That's the broader group that includes the true duck-billed dinosaurs, the Hadrosauridae. But Batyrosaurus is considered basal within Hadrosauridae.
Basal meaning earlier. Like on a lower branch of the family tree.
Exactly. The analysis placed it above Ultrahynus, another early hadrosauroid, but below Batyrosaurus. So it represents the sort of intermediate stage.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting for the bigger picture. In their analysis, another dinosaur, Tethyschodros from Italy, actually fell within the hadrosauridae, the true duckbills. So this made Batyrosaurus, found in Asia, one of the youngest known hadrosauroids that wasn't a hadrosaurid, if that makes sense. It's like it was evolutionarily very close to that split.
Ah, okay. So it was sort of knocking on the door of the main hadrosaurid group.
Precisely. And its presence in Asia at that particular point in time strongly supports the hypothesis that both hadrosaurids and adrosaurids originated in Asia.
Before spreading elsewhere, like North America.
Yes, before migrating to North America later on. This discovery really added weight to that Asian origin idea, challenging the older view that North America was the primary center of evolution for these groups.
So one fossil find from Kazakhstan can really shift our understanding of global dinosaur distribution.
It absolutely can. Each discovery, especially in less explored regions, can refine or even overturn previous ideas. It shows how dynamic the field is.
Now, the paper also mentions another dinosaur name from the same rocks, Arstanosaurus acrodensis. What was the deal with that one?
Right. The authors of the Batyrosaurus paper looked at the material assigned to Arstanosaurus and considered it a nomen dubium.
A doubtful name.
Essentially, yeah. Meaning the original fossil material for Arstanosaurus wasn't distinctive enough, or perhaps too fragmentary, to be confidently diagnosed as a unique species or to be certain about its relationships, so they didn't lump it in with Batyrosaurus.
Okay. It shows that paleontology isn't always neat and tidy. There are these uncertainties.
Definitely. Dealing with an incomplete fossil record means constant evaluation and sometimes acknowledging when the evidence just isn't clear enough yet. Scientific caution is important.
For anyone listening who wants to check out the original study, it's by Godfrey and colleagues, published in 2012. The paper is titled A New Basal Hadrosauroid Dinosaur from the Upper Cretaceous of Kazakhstan, and it's in a volume called Bernoussourt Dinosaurs and Early Cretaceous Terrestrial Ecosystems.
That's the one, pages 335 to 358 if you want the specifics.
Great. So wrapping this up, Batyrosaurus really stands out, doesn't it? This medium-sized plant eater from 84-million-year-old Kazakhstan.
It really does.
It's more than just another name. Its unique skull features, its position as an early or basal hadrosauroid. It provides key evidence supporting that Asian origin story for duck-billed dinosaurs.
Exactly. Challenging those older North America-centric views and those finer details like the potential brain insights from the arterial impressions just add another layer of fascination.
It played a really important role in the evolution of this incredibly successful dinosaur group.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic example of how finds from places like Central Asia continue to reshape our understanding of dinosaur evolution and their global journey.
So here's a thought to leave you with. If Batyrosaurus is one of the youngest non-hadrosaurids found in Asia, what else might be out there, still buried in Kazakhstan or nearby regions? What undiscovered fossils might fill in more gaps, showing us even more clearly that transition towards the classic hadrosaurids we know better from North America?
That's the exciting part, isn't it? The story's definitely not finished. Central Asia likely holds many more clues.
It really makes you wonder what secrets those ancient landscapes are still keeping. Keep digging, keep exploring.